My name is Julie. I am the intervention specialist for the Elite Graduate Program. Welcome to our workshop. We're called Show Me the Money. Our speaker tonight is Elsa Garcia. She's a financial assistant advisor for the Office for Financial Assistance for Students. And she's going to share some insight in how to get some money around here on campus. And with that, here's Elsa.
I have been with the university for 14 years and always in the financial aid area, in the loan area. And I bring quite a bit of experience not only as an employee of the university but as a student as well. I have 2 master's degrees, working on a 3rd. And having said that, I'm going to do our financial aid presentation, and we named it Show Me the Money. Unfortunately, most of your funding is going to come through loans once you become a graduate level student. As an undergrad, there was you may have done FAFSA and been eligible for Pell Grant. As a graduate level student, Pell Grant is not available to you anymore. And so you do have to borrow. And who qualifies for financial aid? You must be a U.S. citizen. You must be enrolled at least half-time in an eligible program with an eligible school. You must register for selective service. And in order to get financial aid or to be considered for financial aid, you have to complete a FAFSA, and that's the free application for financial aid. Okay, what is a Stafford loan? It is a low-interest student loan regulated by the federal government, and it is not based on credit worthiness, so they're not going to run a credit check. Available to anyone who applies via FAFSA. There's 2 different types of loans for students. And for a graduate level student, there's even a 3rd loan, which is called the Graduate Plus, and I'll get into that a little bit later. You have the subsidized loan, which is the loan that it says exactly what it, it means exactly what it says, subsidized. The government subsidizes that interest on your loan while you're in school. You have to be enrolled at least half-time. You have a 6-month grace period before you once you either drop below half-time, leave school altogether, graduate. You have a 6-month grace period before you actually go into repayment on a subsidized loan. And unsub means that the government doesn't subsidize that loan. So it's accruing interest from the moment that you receive the funds. It also has a 6 months grace period. And you don't go into repayment until you drop below half-time, quit school altogether, or graduate. The government sets limits, and these are the limits. I'm really not too interested at this point in undergrad, because you're actually grad students. And the limit for the yearly limit, the academic yearly limit, is $20,500. Now most students think, oh no, I'm eligible for $20,500, but it's not based on the fact that you're eligible for that much. It's actually based on your cost of attendance. So here at this university this year for graduate level students, I believe the cost of attendance, or the budget that we've set for you, is a little over $16,000. So that's what we would award you in student loan money if you had it available in both sub and unsub. Your aggregate lifetime limit, and this is really scary, is $138,500. As a graduate level student or professional doctorate student, you can still get student loans. That's kind of scary, right, to think. And we have quite a few students who actually max out on that amount. If you come back as a post-bac after you've received your first bachelor's, your limits revert back to your undergrad limit, and that's $57,500. Okay, when do you start paying these loans? And I think it's kind of redundant, but I'm going to say it again. 6 months after you complete your program, or drop below half-time, or leave school altogether, you start repayment. And the unsub has been accruing interest, of course, and that's going to be added on to your principal at that point. Plus loan begins 60 days after disbursements. But as a graduate level student, you're no longer eligible for a Parent Plus. What you are eligible for is a Graduate Plus loan. So say, for example, we have students who are non-resident students who, for the fall and the spring, actually max out the $20,500 because their budgets are a little bit higher, and because their cost of tuition is higher. And those students may max out the limit for the year. And they can actually apply for what's called a Grad Plus. Now, that loan is based on credit. So you can use that. Or if you've maxed out the $138,500, which I hope nobody ever does, you can get a Grad Plus. Okay. Paying back your loans. Okay. Minimum payment would be $50, and the amount that you must pay, regardless, has to equal at least the monthly interest due on a loan. The standard repayment is 10 years. Now, we have a lot of students who have borrowed, quite a bit of money and want to extend it as long as they can because they can't manage that 10-year payment. And you can actually have a longer period of time, up to 25 years to pay that loan back. But if you do that, you're going to pay a lot more interest. There are a lot of repayment options. We have something called income-based repayment, which is new. And they actually base your payment on your family size, your income, and how much debt you have. And I'm going to give you guys a drastic scenario. We have a graduate level student, borrowed $138,500, works for the state as an educator, as a teacher, has 2 children, and she's a single parent. Okay, has gone into repayment. It's her first year of teaching, isn't really making a whole lot of money. Has gone into repayment, has consolidated with the Department of Ed, was looking at about $1,000 a month for a payment. Because she asked for income-based repayment, her payment is now $113 a month. And because she works as a teacher, after 10 years of on-time payments, the rest of that student loan debt is going to get forgiven. So she's barely going to make a dent in that debt. So yeah, there's a lot of options for repayment. That's just a little chart kind of giving you a little picture of what your payment might look like depending on what your interest rate is. Once you go into repayment, your best option is to consolidate all your loans. I don't know how long y'all have been graduate students, or if you've borrowed, or if you have different loans with different lenders. We're no longer doing lender lending. Everybody's gone to borrowing directly from the Department of Ed, and so they're the only ones consolidating loans right now. And it's kind of a good thing because you get all your loans together. And you could wind up with even a better interest rate. We have students that have some really, really old loans that have an 8.25 interest rate. And we have some that got loans when the interest rates were at 2.4. So what they do is they combine all the loans together and get an average interest rate. And you could see yourself, bearing better with some of those loans if you do consolidate. That's just an example of interest accruing on an unsubsidized loan that has a 6.8% interest rate. After 5 years of accruing interest, that $2,000 loan will be $2,748. And like I was saying before, there's some students who have different lenders or have borrowed from banks and now are borrowing from the Department of Ed and wonder, well, who do I owe? Who do I pay? How do I do all of this? And there's actually a website that you can go to, and that's it right there, nslds.gov, and you log in as a student. You put in that information, and that will bring up everything you've ever received as far as financial aid, including grants. It'll tell you how much you received in grants and who your lenders are and how much you owe. You'll need that information. It'll be real valuable if you decide to consolidate, because you'll have to, when you do the application with the Department of Ed, you'll have to have that information on each and every one of the lenders in order for them to be able to pay those loans off. And that's kind of what the screen looks like. And it gives you a breakdown of what you've borrowed, when you borrowed, and how much. Okay. I think that's pretty much the same thing there. Okay, what happens if you can't pay? They'll come looking for you. They'll break your legs. No, they won't. Default and the consequences of default if you can't pay your loans. A loan is considered to be in default 270 days that they've had no response. I mean, they've been calling you, they've been sending you emails if they have an email, they've been sending you notices through the mail, and you've absolutely done nothing. So guess what? You're now in default. And the consequences of default are pretty serious. You can get your wages garnished, your income tax and lottery winnings may be withheld. You will no longer be eligible for financial aid, and credit will go down. No house, no car, no nothing, no credit cards, nothing. And it takes quite a bit to get out of that situation. You can rehabilitate the loan, but it's going to take quite an effort from you to do that. So don't ever default on your student loans. I'm going to give you a funny story. We had a lady who had won $2,000 in a lottery ticket. And she knew she was defaulted on her student loans, so she didn't, she knew she couldn't go collect the money. So she thought, well, I'm going to give it to my boyfriend, and I'm going to go let him collect the $2,000. Well, he goes and collects the $2,000. Guess what? He gets a letter in the mail saying, thank you for your $2,000 payment on your defaulted student loans. Yes, so you gotta make sure that person is collecting for you isn't defaulted on student loans. How do I avoid defaulting? Best thing to do, you can contact your lenders, the financial aid office. Don't ever ignore it, because it's not going to go away. It's going to just get worse, and we're all here to help you. Department of Ed's going to work with you. We also have a previous guarantor that was called TG. You may have some loans with them. They're going to work with you. There's absolutely no reason to go into default, because you do have some options. If you come back to school, you can defer your loan again as long as you're at least half-time, and the school deems you that you're at least half-time. They'll stop payment at that point. There's also the option of forbearance, and what that simply is a postponement of your payment. It's not going to stop the interest from accruing, but it's going to keep you from having to make a payment. And you can do this for up to 3 years in a row. Okay? You have at least that long to help you, either get a better paying job or get a job, or, be able to afford to make those payments. But let me tell you something. Under income-based repayment, I have a family who borrowed $25,000 between the husband and the wife. The husband and the wife are only making $38,000 of income, and they have 3 children. Their payment, when they do the income-based repayment, is 0. And that's actually a payment. But you have to qualify every year. Every year what they do is they ask you for your tax information when you file your tax return. They base it on that information. They base it on your adjusted gross income. Okay, so some people could actually see themselves paying 0 under that payment. Of course, you have to remember the interest is accruing, and if you get a better paying job, guess what? You're going to have to pay that loan. Graduate studies, scholarships, any of that information. I'm not very strong on the scholarship side. I know that you can go to the graduate office and get information on graduate scholarships, and I'm sure Julie will give you that information. And the STAR Scholarship has a deadline, and if you're lucky enough to receive after you apply, and if you receive it, we match it. So if you get $1,000, we match the $1,000. Okay? And I believe the deadline is January 1st, 2011 for next year. Okay, so. Any questions? That's it?
On the STAR Scholarship, with the January 1st deadline, is that going to be for spring 2011 or fall 2011?
It's fall 20, it's 11, 12. So it, 10, 11 has already been done, yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Now, if you were to apply for that and say you graduate next August from this university, and you go to another university, say for your PhD, would that scholarship follow you?
I'm not really sure. Let me see if they have contact information here. I think you have to apply through the school that you're actually going to attend. Yeah. Mhm. Okay. Any other questions? No? Well, thank you for your time. I have some cards and there's some brochures about income-based repayment on the table. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.